What is going on, guys? Today I want to be talking about how affirmations changed my life and they ultimately changed the way I am and who I am now, as of right now. Um, so, in the past, I'll be honest, when it comes to affirmations, I was not always, I was very skeptical, when I first started thinking about, what are affirmations, how do they work, and I was just getting into manifestation at the age of 19 and around 18, 19. I'm now 22, so basically I was going through this phase of like manifestation, law of attraction, understanding that we are not just our human body, we are much more than our human body. We are, pure awareness, pure consciousness, and the only way we're able to understand how law of attraction works and how manifestation works is if we understand that we are not just our human body, we're not our name, we're not, just our physical being, we are much more, we are simply pure awareness. So this means through the law of attraction, through manifestation, whatever you put your awareness on is what becomes true. It's what becomes your main state. And what I mean by main state is your main state of consciousness. So when it comes down to it, whatever you put your focus on the most is what becomes true in your day-to-day reality. So when I was around 18, 19, I say this story a lot, but it's because it's meaningful, and it's when I truly understood the power of words, the power of attention, the power of your awareness. I was doing my first ever bodybuilding show. I was getting into, fitness influencing, and I was quickly realizing how powerful my inner world was. And as we all know, your inner world reflects our outer world, or your outer world is reflective of your inner world, and your inner world is reflective of your outer world. But it all starts within first. You can't keep going without in search of whatever you want. Whether it's money, whether it's fame, whether it's fortune, whether it's love, whether it's peace, whether it's happiness, whether it's joy. All these things you have to find within yourself first, and then that's how you create the reality around you in this 3D physical world. So basically, when I first started learning about, Bob Proctor, Neville Goddard, and all these mystics, these revolutionaries, they were always talking about, you have to change your inner world first in order to achieve a greater, higher outer world, or achieve a greater, higher level of understanding, to achieve a better broad view of the world. And basically, I took this to the extreme. I was saying affirmations over and over and over, and I was visualizing day and night. And it was so weird how subtle the shift was, but it was also very evident that it was working. Because when I was in high school, I would say I wasn't the most secure person. I was very insecure. I was very angry. I'd get mad at little things. I'd get mad at everything from my external world. And basically, whenever I started doing law of attraction, I started, manifesting a way better, peaceful life in terms of love, in terms of happiness, in terms of relationships, in terms of purity. And all this is due to my mental states. I was affirming how positive I was. I was affirming how happy I was. I was affirming how abundant I was. And you guys can do this too. And this is exactly why I make videos like this, is because I want to explain that not only is this, something, miraculous that I have done, and it's not something that, it's like, it's only for a certain amount of people. It's literally for everyone. Every single person on this earth can manifest whatever it is that they want if they put their mind to it. And you see it everywhere. There's examples everywhere. There's UFC fighters that manifest their careers. There's people that say, oh, I had this vision that one day I was going to be like this, or one day I was going to be like that, and I just stuck to it. And that's exactly what that's exactly what it is. It's manifestation. But the only way you can obtain your goals and your dream reality is if you go inward first. And this is stuff that they don't necessarily teach you, at school or in day-to-day life. And I think that's for an obvious reason. Most people are struggling and they're stuck in their own ways because they don't know how to change their conscious mental activity. They don't know how to change their conscious mental, thinking. And if you're able to more consciously be aware of the way you think, the way you see things, your perspective, everything in your life will change. And I mean this from my heart, from my soul. I mean this 100% completely. If you change the way you think, you will change your life. No matter what your circumstances, you could be the lowest of the low. But the true answer to everything is, if you were someone who has negative thoughts, if you were someone who has negative images in your mind, if you're someone that has negative, it only takes 51%. It could be 51% could be negative in your mind, and that's going to make your life negative. So if you make it 51% positive, your life's going to be positive. But the true reality of it is, if you have a lot of negative thoughts, if you have a lot of negative emotions within your mind, within your body, the number one thing you can do is reverse it. And how would you reverse that? Is by saying positive things about yourself, looking at yourself in the mirror, having a positive self-image. Look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, oh, I love you, you're a great person, you're powerful, you're loving, you're joyful, you're perfect, you're literally perfect. And tell yourself this until it becomes true, and it will work. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.